The following news flash is brought to you by the Lone Star Lowdown, providing your daily bulletins for the commodities market. Today in history, news updates, and the inside scoop into the tides of the alternative. Markets for Wednesday, the 27th of April, 2016, are currently trading with gold at $1,244.98 an ounce, silver $17.20 an ounce, Texas crude $42.64 a barrel, and Bitcoin is currently at about 457 U.S. currency. Today in history, the year 1909, the Sultan of Turkey, Abdul Hamid II, is overthrown by the Sultan's military counter-coup, which was in response to the Young Turks' coup. His brother Rashad Effendi was then proclaimed as Sultan Mehmed V. The fall of Abdul Hamid II. Today in history. In recent news, Dennis Hastert, former House Speaker, was sentenced to 15 months in prison and ordered to pay $250,000 today and 2 years of supervised release once he finished his prison term. The fine is for a victim's hush money case, which was uncovered by the FBI, where he was accused of sexually abusing young boys as a teacher in Illinois. Hastert did admit to Judge Thomas M. Durkin in open court that he abused at least one child. The primary accuser in a sexual abuse case, who had received $1.7 million from Hastert, has also sued Hastert for the remaining $1.8 million he was promised. The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, announced on his regular presidential broadcast that in a desperate attempt to save electricity, the public sector or government employees, who make up a third of the country's workforce, will work Monday and Tuesday and have the rest of the week off. This 5-day weekend is being implemented in order to save as much electricity as possible. The shortage has resulted from a drought the country has been going through since Venezuela's electricity primarily comes from hydroelectric plants. They're banking on the rainy season, which is expected shortly, to save the country's electric shortage. Forced blackouts lasting 4 hours at the minimum have been imposed across much of the country, putting the country's scarce food supplies in restaurants and markets at risk of spoiling. For more than 12 hours after the declaration, rioters, as could be expected, went on a spree against businesses and even attacked the headquarters of the government's power company, Corpo Elec. If significant rainfall does not arrive within a few weeks, much of Venezuela will be at risk of a near-total blackout. Venezuela's economy is projected to shrink 8% this year, with inflation running at a whopping 720%, according to the International Monetary Fund. Though the effects of socialism on people are not funny, I can't help but ask what socialists used for light before they used candles. Apparently it was electricity. This was your lowdown for April 27, 2016.
Hello, and welcome to the show today. This is Nourishment for the Spiritual Warrior, and I'm here with David Burke. This is Dr. Lisa Wampel. We are in Monaco. David, how are you doing today? Andrew is actually playing a poker game today, so it's just going to be David and myself hosting the show. And today we have a very special guest, Thomas Dickens, who we're going to have coming on the line shortly here. But I have to say, Monaco is actually a really beautiful place. This is the first time I've been here. It is in the south of France, very close to Nice, and the water is turquoise blue. It's incredible. The weather is actually really warm. David, what are your thoughts about Monte Carlo?
Monte Carlo is a principality. It's separate from France. And it's actually, just learning a little bit of Monaco from the locals and walking around, it's primarily a Catholic principality. And it's one of the few times I've got to spend in my life an area that's primarily Catholic. And I must say it's immaculate. It's beautiful. The people are very nice, very helpful. The service is impeccable. The people in the hotels are extremely nice, extremely helpful. It's fascinating because there's basically no income tax at the principality on the money you make when you work here. So the people are rather prosperous, and there's so many exotic cars and high standards of living here. And it's interesting, you have about 40 to 50,000 people from France, according to the locals, drive to Monaco because they say they make more money here in Monaco, and the working conditions are better, and they feel like they have an opportunity to eventually create more wealth for themselves and more opportunities in business. And it's rather fascinating because you're looking at, France is known for its extreme socialism, where some of the locals that are from France that are in Monaco working, they tell me they have to pay sometimes around 60% in taxes. And while in Monaco, you're looking at zero, so close to zero. But when you look at Monaco, the actual infrastructure in the city is amazing. It's really actually kind of breathtaking, the amount of architecture that is very Roman in its design or Greek in its design. It's very European. It's very beautiful how they built the hotels and houses into the mountains oversee the water. And but people in Monaco, they do work very hard. They're very excited about life. We spoke to one small business owner, and he said he's working really hard for the next 10 years because he wants to retire after 10 years. And in Monaco, people, because the tax rate is so good, can work very hard, and they can retire in 10 years of work because, their income is going to themselves, and then you have like sales tax and different things which help upkeep the city. But it's so incredible seeing the two differences of way to run a country: high taxes, large government socialism with France, and then the principality having low taxes, a royal family that acts as a stewardship of the moral law, so the moral guidance of the standards of living, the quality of life of the people. And the people who love their monarchy, they love their royal family, and they're very proud of their principality. And you can't help but get a little bit excited. They're all very excited about the Monaco Grand Prix coming up, and which is going to start in about a week. But we've been at the grand final of the Monaco World Series of Poker. It's actually the European Poker Tour. And a couple of friends actually have won some of the big events. And it's really interesting talking to them because they're very much about using their intuition, connecting to their spirit, using their logical, good mathematic mind. And the players have a good balance between their intuitive approach and their good habit mathematics, do very well. It's just, three friends, actually four friends did well in that super high roller, and it's really happy for them. It's a great event, and Andrew actually is still in the main event, which I think there's a total of 4 million in prize money. That's in euros, and he is still in the main event. If you want to look at the Poker News updates, you can see how Andrew Lucky Lichtenberger is doing. And I will be playing the main event tomorrow. Rather excited. It's my first EPT Grand Final Monaco main event.
That's awesome, David. I hope you win your first one. Why not, huh?
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Bill, who is one of the top players in the world, and he laughed. He said his first major main event EPT, he actually won. So it can happen. I mean, there's a possibility. I actually feel really good. Did a couple hours of meditation today. Been working on just probability, different theories of how mathematically cards can run out, and which is working on my good habit, sharpening my math mind, and then doing some meditation to bring myself really present. I feel like I'm going to have a very, very good experience this tournament series. So far, it's just been an incredible series, seeing so many friends do well so far, so it's very encouraging at the moment.
Yeah, it's really fun being around all the poker players, and they just they're a funny group of people. I do love it here, and again, Monaco is just gorgeous and beautiful. Just boats everywhere, and lots of expensive cars and cute architecture and churches, and it's lovely. We're really enjoying it.
And when you look at Monaco as far as its roads and infrastructure compared to the border area of France, you can quickly tell when you're into Monaco because the infrastructure of the roads and the signs and the amount of public service people that are out to help is dramatically increased. And it's kind of interesting. You can just tell by the number plates what type of car the driver has. It just seems that there's so much more wealth and incentive created with less government, lower taxes, and bringing so much international business, and it just inspires people to create. So you can definitely see, like, it's kind of like I'd say Monaco is very much a monarchy with good moral guidance, encouraging people to have very kind of libertarian values and believe in themselves, and it seems to be working. Monaco is a very beautiful city, which I think people should visit once in a lifetime and just see with this type of perspective the quality of life that people can and actually are having.
I agree with you. It's a lovely place. And I have Thomas Dickens on the line. Shall we bring him on? Hello, Tom. Are you there? Not sure if we have Tom or not. Are you there, Tom? I'll see if I can get him on the line on break. We have a few more minutes till break. But we will be having Tom Dickens on, and we're going to talk a little bit about the movie that was filmed by Tom and David Burke. What year was that when you guys did that film, David?
Well, we conceptualized the film and we worked towards the film, so it's been several years in making the film. It's a lot of work, filmmaking, when you are doing the producing side and also the artistry side. And because you have to make your own art to be able to share with the world a perspective that's unique from your experiences with your life and with your friends. And a lot of times you just don't want to be a cookie cutter film you see so many of, and it's okay for those films to fail and not really change or inspire a better society because they're basically fed down the throats of people through forced media communication to the public sphere, where you can't really avoid it. So the billboard is on the merchandising. It's basically government fed into your lifestyle. But to give a breath of fresh air, something unique, something that could inspire people just to create art, just to create films, just create their perspective to inspire creativity. You really have to create your own art, work with great people, enthusiastic people, intelligent people, and get in there and do the hard work and just see that you can create something to share that's unique and positive. And, this being our first major independent film, there's a lot of work, a lot of fun. And I think the next one's going to be easier because you learn so much when you go through the actual process. You kind of learn the value of things and the value of friendships and patience and more patience and more patience and more patience.
Yeah, and for anybody who's ever done a film will know, and anyone who has not ever worked on a film, I'd have to say, man, it's a lot of work, so many hours, sleep lost, but it's a labor of love, and it's an amazing experience to participate in the production of a film. So we'll talk more about that after we come back from break. This is Nourishment for the Spiritual Warrior. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back.
This is the Logos Radio Network.
follow the immortal path, meditate on the formless form, student of the art of war, slayer on the board of ignorance. I follow the immortal path, meditate on the formless form, student of the healing way. The Dharma wheel is spinning, the golden age is rising, the Dharma wheel is spinning.
In my death is my beginning, in my beginning is my death. The circle of life is never ending, each life journey on intention depending. Cultivate yourself and accept your eternity, experience your bliss through the simple maturity.
The angel of death came my way, had some advice to say. When you dream you still see, no time is ever wasted. I'll be seeing you soon, the war of heaven's here, the golden age is rising, Dharma wheel is spinning, the eternal is my friend, in the darkness I'm not alone, one candle of light guides me home.
Fighting fearlessly with patience and wisdom to see through the veil of material.
Hello and welcome back to the show. This is Elisa Wample, and we are currently in Monaco. And we are trying to get Tom on the line here. If anyone can just hang tight for a second, we're going to try to give him a call. His Skype wasn't working before. But I'll continue talking a little bit about my experience in Monaco. Again, we're here for the EPT European Poker Tour, and it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of excellent players. I'd say there's about, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000 players playing right now, and it's a lot of energy when you walk out there on the floor. You can hear all the chips clacking, and there's a lot of people standing around. They don't let you in. And, I try to bring Andrew some food or some tea, and David tries to bring him some tea, and they're very careful about allowing people to just walk up to the table. David, you want to come and tell us a little more about the poker tour? But in general, it's really fun. It's probably the first time I've been to the south of France since I was a little kid. And technically, Monaco is the principality, but we fly into Nice, and the coastline is absolutely stunning. It's just a really fun and lovely place to be.
And when you look at Monaco, you begin to see there's so many different ways to be able to live life. And you see that people can choose to embrace the ideas of lower taxes and encourage business, encourage the individual, encourage the middle class, encourage families, or they can choose the opposite, which is high taxes, way too many bureaucrats and government expenditures to be able to maintain your economy. And we see every day all these kind of economic refugees pouring in from France and wanting to be able to have an opportunity to earn enough money to be able to provide for themselves, their family. And this is just what I've heard from the people traveling from France. This is my opinion. I still don't know enough about the country and the people of Europe to really have a definitive opinion, but we're talking to the people that are coming into Monaco to work. They are very discouraged about the economic state in France, the lack of opportunity for people with work and with creating new businesses. They talk about how bureaucratic it is to open a business in France and to try and provide for your family with so much red tape, as they described to myself. While in Monaco, you see people so inspired to have their own small business because they see all around them that, yes, if you work hard, you can take that extra money home to save, to put towards education, to put towards a home, to provide for your family. They're very inspired to work, and you can really see how hardworking the local people are in Monaco. And it's encouraging. You see where there's opportunity created through low taxes. people really are incentivized to work. It's, humans aren't lazy people. Humans want to create things. Humans want a good life. And, nothing's, I'm not saying Monaco is the perfect example. I don't know Monaco well enough yet. I've only been here for over a week. But I can say it's definitely a very inspiring place, talking to the locals of Monaco and somewhere between 40 and 50,000 people, and a few of them we spoke to, that are coming over the border from France to have that opportunity because they can't earn the money with a 60% tax, which one of the restaurant owners in France was telling us how difficult it is. While 1 mile across the border, you're paying a very, very low tax, and your income tax is basically zero. So the employees are very incentivized to work those extra hours or to come up with creative ideas to make the business run smoother.
Yeah, it was kind of funny when we flew into Nice. I was noticing all of the people enjoying their time sitting around in the park. There was quite a few people laying outside on the grass in the park. And the restaurant owner at the Caju Vegan Cafe was saying, no one works hard here. Why would you work so hard? Because you just have to pay so much tax. And, people are crazy who work so hard here. But although he had a restaurant and he was, I'm sure working hard. But it was kind of interesting to hear that from a local about the incentive or lack thereof to work. But Dave, did you notice all the people sitting in the park?
Yeah, there was a lot of homeless people. There was a lot of people who were just sleeping in the park. And so it just didn't seem like in the city that there was, I guess like in London, there's like a heartbeat in the financial area in the CBD where people are very motivated, I guess, from seeing the wealth of money. And I could say, in the area of France, people were definitely, it seemed to be a lot less inspired to create something. It was just my experience and talking with people there. And the parking was very difficult to get any parking. The city roads were very difficult to go through and to have any real direction. There's a lot of times that you had to just do a 3-point turn to get around a corner because the infrastructure of the road hadn't been improved. But I can really see the pressures that the people in France around it, because humans are amazing and humans love to create and humans are inspired about life when they're able to have access to the natural elements of life, clean water, clean food, raw materials, great things, philosophize about life. Humans are very inspired to create, but it is very difficult, I'm sure, for them when they're informing us they're dealing with sometimes a 60% tax. And why work that extra hour?
Hang on, everyone. We'll be right back after the break.
Reality TV, sugar, obesity, jet lag, the list of things that makes us dumber just keeps on growing. But now researchers say we can add stress to the list. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with details in a moment.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Are you always on the go and juggling multiple projects? If so, you might think that multitasking proves you're smart. But think again, all that stress might be eating your brain. A new study finds stress reduces the number of connections between neurons, which actually makes it harder for people to manage problems. Researchers at Yale University found that stressed out people have less gray matter in their prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that helps us weigh conflicting ideas and regulate our emotions. So take a deep breath and chill out. It'll help keep your mind as sharp as a tack. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
You're listening to the Logos Radio Network at logosradionetwork.com.
We have a tunnel
Hello and welcome back to the show. It is Saturday, April 30th, and I'm here. This is Dr. Lisa Wampel. I'm here with David Burke, and we're trying to get our guest, Tom Dickens, on the show, but we're having a little bit of trouble connecting with him, so we'll see if we can connect with him before the next break. But in the meantime, we'll just have a little chat, me and David. David, what would you like to chat about?
We are at Monaco at the EBT, so I'll talk about some of the personalities that seem to do well in poker, which seem to do well in strategy. So when you meet some of the top poker players in the world, they're very clear in their communication. So they really slow things down and listen to every word that you say. And they really think about those words, the top people that I spent time with at the World Series events. And they take their time to listen, because listening is a skill which allows you to learn about your opponent, allows you to learn things that you might not know. We already all know what we know, but through really listening, whether it's how someone moves their hand, how someone breathes, how someone speaks, by really listening to someone and understanding their perspective, by understanding the possibilities, the mathematical possibilities, but then also the emotional possibilities, you're able to make a better decision. One of our friends who won one of the major events already here, he talked about how he really slows down and in his own mind, and he really observes people, and just by the way they breathe differently, he'll use that, and we call it a tell, to whether to raise, re-raise, or fold. And he's on an incredible winning streak at the moment. But it's just, it's fascinating that the amount of detail and observation that goes into the art of gaming. And when you look at the art of negotiation, or the art of project management, or the art of being a general in the military, or the art of being a monk or a priest, or representing your community and trying to understand people's perspectives and to find solutions, and looking in your environment, that possibly we look at biomimicry, where we copy nature, and through copying nature, we're able to create fantastic technology, because nature is already the perfect technology. So when you spend a lot of time around some of the best listeners in the world, because I look at people in the top world of poker are incredible listeners. They're listening with their eyes, their ears, their nose, their own body awareness, just feeling how energetically they feel in the table feels. It's like you get into this hypersensitivity. Like you recalibrate all your sensory and sixth sense system to be able to really understand the situation. And I also find this in the top fields of people I've spoken to in day trading, in options trading. People that I've spoken to are incredible architects, people who are incredible inventors, people who are Renaissance people who are very unique and talented at many different fields. They all have something very, very in common. It seems they're very focused on aligning themselves with what the actual truth is, not the perceived truth, but the actual truth of the situation. And they do that through listening, slowing things down, and observing, and not making rash movements, or not generalizing, not making statements just to fit in and be heard. They would probably not make the statement, rather than say a statement to fit in and be heard. And it's just it's incredible watching the top players play, and then also competing with them, because you have to compete at that level, you have to also recalibrate your consciousness. And had a lot of fun. I played some of the top players from China and Macau, and they're a little bit different, I think, from some of the European players, to where the skills that they lean on a little bit more is, I just don't think they bluff very much. They get really heavy when they have a good hand. So after a while, it got quite easier as things went on to win some great hands against the Macau team. And very good players, but there's little things that I felt made playing them a lot easier as time went on. You get used to their pattern, their way of decoding reality. And then you've got some players from France that have a certain style, and Germany has a certain style, and Britain has a certain style, and Malta has a certain style, and And you can really slow things down and see how people's personalities sometimes extend, which often they do extend into how they play poker or how they paint or how they build or how they work as a litigator, how they work as a doctor. Really see the extension of the personality, extension of the culture, the extension of the spiritual belief structure. But behind all that is there's the eternal aspect, which is we're all trying to get to that perfect awareness, that perfect truth. Whether we know it or we don't know, we're all trying to get to that magical place of perfect alignment with what moves beyond the seasons.
That's very true. It's kind of interesting. I was having a conversation with some friends the other day about poker, even though I don't play poker, but they were perceiving poker as not necessarily being a spiritual endeavor. And most people wouldn't say it is, but I was explaining to them, well, actually, poker is a spiritual thing. And that's what Andrew's book is about, Yoga of Poker. It's about using the strategy and the game and the play as a way to search into yourself and find your intuition, find your connection. Because as with anything in life, I mean, poker is really just like anything else. When you're tapped into a flow, you are manifesting great hands. You're manifesting luck. You're manifesting winning hands. And I think, as with anything, if you feel good, good things happen for you. So that's why certain players, they get on a winning streak and they're just super confident and they keep on winning. And what is the term you said, David, to me the other day? They're sitting on a heater or something.
Yeah, in the poker world, we call it sitting on a heater. It's a slang term. This meaning that you're functioning very well, you're doing very well, and then sometimes you're on a cooler, which you're not functioning as well. But it's kind of interesting because when you play poker professionally, you get challenged. That's great, getting challenged by some of the top computer tech personalities, some of the top banking, venture capital personalities, or military personalities. They're all, they've become great at what they do through logic. And they're very logical people and they understand patterns, and it's great fun playing them. And then also there is an emotional aspect to it. Because you're forced in, because this blind structure, you can't fold every hand until you have the best hands. You have to also play medium and high range hands, and sometimes you need to bluff because you're not wanting to get your stack of chips decreased too much by the blind structure. So it's fascinating playing, and there's some of the big games in the larger US, Las Vegas. Some of these unique personalities in the tech and banking world will put a couple of million on the table and play the pros, and the pros always seem to clean up. So there's definitely something special through the art of playing games and learning strategy and good habits in that.
Absolutely. And we will be right back after this break. Stay tuned, everyone.
Easy.
Descends to the earth, a time where the mind is defined and confined. We the people need to realign with the divine, and government for the people by the people realigns. No more taxation without representation. It's time for the people to have their say, no longer the prey. Aligned with truth, there's nothing we cannot do. Divide and conquer lies and false promises. These are the archonic weapons of hurtful decay. The abundance of the earth is the perfect technology, and the golden age is now. Rise together as one in peace and prosperity.
This is Stephen Burke, live from Monaco, the Principality of Monaco, one of the most unique places in the civilized world, where you have low income tax, you've got incentives to create businesses, and it's an entertainment, host for many things, such as the World Tennis Championships, the World Poker Championships, the Monaco Grand Prix. There's just events every week in Monaco. They're incredible at hosting people. And I must say, so far, this is just my experience, so far, the people that I've met in Monaco in the service industry are just very, very good at what they do. They love to work hard, and they love to put on great events, and they're very proud of their beautiful city, 30 kilometers squared, which is about, I think, 10 to 12 miles squared. It's not very big, but it is just bustling with energy. It's bustling with inspired people with their low taxes to create and to work hard. And it's just such a bipolar difference in some of the places that we see in France. But this is just what French people told me. Like I said, I don't have yet a Filipino in France. I've only seen the area of Nice. And this is what the French people told me, where they really to say, there's no incentive to work. This one business owner told me in Nice, there's no incentive for you or your employees to work, because the more you work, the more you make, the more you get taxed, and then the more regulations as your business expands gets put on you. So they say, every week you're seeing businesses have so many problems, because it's almost you're seen as a problem having a business as opposed to a community solution. Because businesses are there to create better communities, better solutions, because they can adapt, and small business can adapt and fill in the gaps that big business or government can't see. They're adaptable, they're knowledgeable, they're focused, they're inspired. And going to the side of France and coming to Monaco on the other side, it's just two different worlds, and it's fascinating from just observing the politics and accepting different mental beliefs, and just seeing how two different manifestations, when you firewall your mind a certain way, and then you have a physical experience, unlimited spirit to a mind that's conditioned, and then you express your energy into your physical world. It's fascinating the differences and the attitudes of the community, and how proud and inspired the people in Monaco are about their area. And I've met some people at the tournament, World Poker Tournament from France, that are wonderful and lovely and nice. And but they all have a deep sigh and frown when they talk about the level of red tape and taxation that they're facing. And it's a deep sigh that's coming. And I hope Monaco's light spreads. It's very brilliant how there does such a low income tax on the working class, and which creates middle class and inspired solutions.
Yeah, it's funny. We were at a restaurant near the water, and the server was from Italy, because actually we're very close to Italy. And I asked him, I said, how far are we from Italy? And he said, I drive here every day from Italy to come and work. And he takes his little moped. There's so many little mopeds and scooters and motorcycles around here. You can hear them zooming around at 6 a.m. when everyone's starting work. And he said it was 25 minutes to drive from Italy, where he lives, to come to work. And I was noticing all the bartenders around. Everyone was super happy to have their job. I was like, wow, these workers are really inspired. I'll bet you they're really fighting to get here, because there's a lot of money that comes to Monaco. So I'm sure I would assume they get good tips and they get treated well.
And it's not just the money. It's when you have a community of people where they have a low tax, they've got disposable income to spend. And so there's definitely people work hard, and they buy things because they can afford things.
We've seen some nice cars.
Well, I think a lot of that may be because Monaco does host one of the world's most popular Formula One racing Grand Prix with all the very fast cars.
That's true. But there's lovely cars, and then a lot of people ride motorcycles and little scooters around, actually, and they go zipping around the streets. They're really curvy because it's on a hill. And see, when you're walking across, you have to be a little bit careful because the cars just come zipping around the corners. But it's really cool because almost anywhere you're standing in Monaco, there's this gorgeous ocean view because it's kind of all on a hill.
Yeah, Monaco it's very progressive, and you can see because it has small business and a middle class. They are very adaptable, and they make some fun changes. At one of the major sports bars we went to today, they even have full-size Formula One cars hanging inside the sports bar. And the sports bar has, once a week, they have lessons on how to make healthy food. And they have an organic vegan menu. And they have cold-pressed juices. And actually, their cold-pressed juices all sold out. And they only had orange juice left, which is cold-pressed and organic. But I actually wanted a cold-pressed green juice. But it's inspiring to me to see that, small business that's not regulated to where they're forced to be a franchise and doesn't allow adaptability and allows the small businesses they allow you to adapt your menu to the trends and to what your customers want for their own health, or people want to bring their friends and family to a place to eat because it makes you feel good. A lot of times, you ask people who go to some of these large chain stores, did you enjoy your food? And they're like, well, I was hungry. It's just a place to eat. But when you go to these smaller businesses, like especially in Austin, I love some of the small food restaurants, and they're still doing very well. They're economically, but they make changes because they're part of the community. They're not telling the community how to think, feel, or be. They're adapting with the community, so there's a push and pull between the viewpoint of the restaurant and the viewpoint of the community, and they have a good synergy. And so there's these wonderful options of vegan foods, green juices, healthy foods, organic foods, and just such a beautiful thing to see in a sports bar. And where you see a lot of times in the other countries, sports bars are kind of like dive bars. It's a place you kind of maybe go to die.
Yeah, it was really cool. And we asked them about, because they have a regular menu with regular stuff you would see at the sports bar, but then they had a specific vegan menu. And it was really cool, actually. They're very progressive. All of their menus were iPads or tablets. And they had their own Wi-Fi that you could connect to, and everything was on the tablet, the whole menu. You kind of opened it up. It was in like a regular case, and you open it up, and the tablet's inside. And it was really cool. And they said, oh, yeah, we just added this new vegan menu on here because we wanted to give healthier options to the people and offer classes and all these things. So that was great. It's really nice to see those changes being made in all parts around the world, really. People are becoming more interested in vegan lifestyle and healthy living and alternative healing methods.
Yeah, they don't really have a chance. It's if they don't take an interest. In our book, Nourishment, the Spiritual Warrior, when researching healthcare, traveling around the world and seeing how health is approached in many other countries, I was very surprised the U.S. was ranked around 54th in the world in healthcare, and the U.S. taxpayer spends the most money than any other country, which, it doesn't make sense until you see the financial incentive to provide a service that is incomplete. And, you read so many sad stories of doctors that end up leaving the U.S. to go to another country to practice because they feel they can be rewarded for doing a good job, and they can have a say in the healthcare system to where they know they can make a positive impact in their community. And it's just very fascinating to see how quickly these countries where they are lower taxes and a higher middle class are quick to adapt to healthier ways of eating or healthier exercise trends, or they're very community oriented and wanting to see everyone, have the middle class dream, be able to work, have not too much pain and suffering, and have a life that's prosperous, inspiring, and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't had a chance yet, but apparently they have a world-class gym here somewhere and we went to that. That was one of the nicest gyms I've been to. That was in Iceland. And apparently there's one here, so we'll go and check that out. They have a yoga studio or two around. And, it's hard when we're in these places. I want to see everything, but there's only so much time. But
and there's a lot of yoga classes going on. They actually have yoga classes where you meet up at some of the luxurious hotels and you do yoga where beautiful gardens are or the ocean. And, it's kind of interesting, like, having not really spent very much time in a Catholic-centered community, like the Principality of Monaco, I've been told so many seemingly erroneous things about the Catholic community.
We'll be right back.
Dr. Lisa Lompoll. We are live from the Principality of Monaco. And just before the break, I was talking about Monaco is very much a Catholic community, and I've never really spent much time in a Catholic city before. And it's a unique experience for me and many of my friends. When we spend so much time in the US or in Britain, you don't really get to see too many of Catholic communities and how they function. And so it's been very surprising. So many things I was told about Catholic communities and how they may run their communities, or just a city for Catholics are in charge. I mean, Kennedy wasn't Catholic. Remember, Lisa?
Yes.
And before he was assassinated, was considered to be one of the most loved presidents of the United States. And it's interesting because so many things I was told, being a child and or just in community, generalized statements, and but talking with the people who are Catholic in Monaco, they're very into low government. They're very into low taxation. They're very into middle class, and they're very into the idealism that God loves you. And there's so many hearts everywhere, and there's so many people giving each other hugs and talking to them as if they're a part of a family. And I must say, it's just a very it's kind of inspiring seeing a group of people treating each other with like their brother and sister in many ways. And it's fascinating. The place that we're actually staying at, there's approximately 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. There's probably about 20 love hearts and words saying love, just in the place that we're doing the show from. They very much have a lot of love, while they like the idea of love. They have a fascinating idealism and of the ideal, and it's kind of interesting talking to some of the Catholic community here. They're very much into their geometry, and one of the ways they connect with their understanding of God is through mathematics and geometry. Very much, it seems, a quadrivium and trivium perspective type. But you look at some of the beautiful buildings that they've created into the mountains, and the ratios are beautifully applied, and they have the gold rectangles, and they have taken their time with these Fibonacci awnings, very romantic, very idealism.
It's really beautiful. The buildings and the streets are all really narrow, and the buildings are tall, and they're all really beautifully painted, different like orangey pink colors, or white, or just these beautiful hues. And when you're driving down the street, it just feels quaint and lovely, and everything is polished. That's the best word I can kind of describe it. It's just pretty. They keep there's trees everywhere. There's palm trees. They kind of make room for the trees. They have like a hole in the sidewalk where the tree grows out of. They kind of built the area around the nature. And
they have all these fruit-bearing plants and trees that's in the middle of the city. On the walkway, if you're hungry, you could grab an orange or a lemon and fill yourself. It's like they wanted to create it's like a little Garden of Eden, and they want to share that with the tourists.
Yeah, it's really cool, because I often ponder, why don't they plant fruit trees in public places to be able to feed people? It's just as easy to plant a fruit tree as something else. But in Monaco, they actually do. They have these beautiful orange trees and also lemon trees everywhere. It's just in the middle of the city, where you can pick an orange and eat it.
Yeah, one of the older Catholic churches that I'm sure it's been, maybe it was Catholic, maybe it was something else over the hundreds of years, but the church in the front had probably 10, 20 of these beautiful fruit trees, and the fruit is just hanging there, and anyone can just go past and grab a piece of fruit, and it's like you can really feel the community's idealism of their love for a loving God personality, and they're just so excited to demonstrate the beauty inherent in how they see their perspective of God, and it's just been a very I'd say somewhat inspiring and encouraging. I feel very safe here. I think the worst thing that might happen to me is that Monica people might hug me and try to kiss me too many times.
Yeah, Andrew and David and I went to the local organic food market one of the first days we got here and stocked up on all of our organic foods that we like to keep around. And I don't know if he was the owner or whether it was just one of the shopkeepers there.
Yeah, he was a owner manager.
Okay.
One of the owners, yeah.
We bought so much stuff that he just said, "Oh, I'm going to give you a 10% discount," and which was really nice. We didn't buy that much stuff. I felt like, but he was
prices were very affordable.
I was actually
like
surprised.
compared to how much like when we were in Nice in France, like it was very expensive for lunch. And then in comparison, it was just like similar to Austin, Texas, great prices on organic, clean food in the middle of Monaco, where people say Monaco is so expensive, but as far as clean food goes, it's very affordable and quite inexpensive in comparison.
Yes, and we were asking him a little bit about Monaco actually when we were there, and he was saying everyone here has money, and he said, "Well, Monaco is just known to have money." And
he even said, even all the workers have money, all the managers have money, all the landowners have money. It's like Monaco. It's a city where they don't believe in lack. They believe everyone can make money, and if you work hard. And he was very excited. He says, like, I like to work 6-7 days a week, so I love to. I'm really passionate about what I do, and he says, like, I work really hard, and I get to take my money home to my family and not like over in France where I have to pay 60% or whatever. He was saying, he's like, I'm so proud of our hospitality, and this is all like glowing, like talking about it. It was kind of like he was talking about it as a big secret. He didn't want the world to know like how excited he was to be working 6-7 days a week. I mean, like, how many people want to work 6-7 days a week in many other countries? And they don't because they don't love what they do, or they don't feel that they're getting a correct return on their hard work. They do feel a lot of people that you get to a certain, who work a second or third job and you're being taxed, you're being penalized, in fact, for it in some countries, where they just don't want you to be enthusiastic and inspiring.
Yeah, it was funny too. He had a little framed picture of two people who looked like royals on the wall, and I knew it was someone important. And then I asked him, I said, "Who are those people in the picture?" And he said, "Oh, that's the prince and the princess."
And he had the prince and his father, and he's like the father. He was a real boss. He made sure everything went right, and he did a good job. And he was just so proud of living in Monaco and his opportunities in Monaco.
Yeah, David, weren't you telling me, and I apologize if I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but you were saying that Monaco was suffering at one point in history, and they decided to put the casino here, and they came victorious?
I don't know if became victorious is the right word, but the Monaco, during the period of the French Revolution, had its ups and downs because Monaco always wanted independence. And Monaco was, according to the history that we read, getting a briefing on Monaco, it was invaded, and the people were forced to join other countries' militaries, and they were forced to change their lifestyle, and they gave up a lot of their city and territory, and the citizens and the people who loved hospitality really did suffer. And but over time, the people, because they really loved their hospitality, and they really loved their way of life, they loved their individuality, and they loved their community, and over time, they come with ideas, and they couldn't afford to pay back the loans they were forced to take, basically, by some of the stronger countries. And so they set up a casino. And it's fascinating if you look in the US, the richest people in the world, own casinos, but it's not the casino. It's like the mentality. It teaches you the exchange of energy. It's like how to reduce risk, how to manage a bankroll, how to look at the patterns of life. So many great poker players go on to be incredible currency traders or day traders, and so many great day trade currency traders go on to be incredible military strategists, and so many great military strategists go on to be incredible religious leaders. And so you kind of see this through line. I really think the casino in Monaco gave the community a very fast awareness of the exchange of energy and of odds and mathematical reasoning, and not being attached to every hand you play or every bet you make, and seeing on the long term or the mathematical probabilities of things. And so I just think that freedom, that desperation that created that idea, and that freedom has just allowed Monaco and its people to be okay with losing sometimes, because they're going to work hard to win a lot of times. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about Monaco is its casino, and how through gaming, through math, through strategy, through risk and reward, they really have created something beautiful here.
Very true. And for me personally, being around the poker event right now and talking to all the poker players, and it really dawns on you just how often when you gamble, how often people lose. Poker players don't win the majority of the time, but they win often enough, these guys who are really good, that they're able to support themselves and actually create a great abundance around them.
And like in Andrew and I, both of us, we don't encourage anyone to ever gamble. Most people, it's to always be a hobby, and I don't encourage for other people to do such things.
Don't try this at home, kids.
But I do encourage people to play with play money and to learn the mathematical beauty of life and to trust themselves.
Absolutely. So we are going off to break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Nourishment, the Spiritual Warrior.
You are listening to the Logos Radio Network. The LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back. We have been talking a lot about Monaco and all of the love that is here, and I'll just share a little tidbit of my experience today. I woke up and we have this gorgeous view from the place where we're staying, and I was sitting out on the porch doing my morning meditation, and this beautiful dove came and perched right on the gate, literally like a foot and a half in front of me, and just sat there while I was meditating. And I tried to get a picture of it, and then it flew away, of course. But it just kind of symbolized to me the beauty and the peacefulness of this place. It's definitely unique and wonderful.
Yeah, it's interesting. The dove being used as a symbol for Christianity so often, and the city is very much like the dove. It's very welcoming. It's very beautiful, and it's very peaceful. And it's Monaco. It's very much a city that I think for any listeners, especially listeners in Austin, Texas, if you want to empirically see the type of enthusiasm, the type of wealth, the type of excitement, the type of creativity that's generated from low income taxes, then you should come and see Monaco. It's a model that works. And then you can go to France and see where the French people, like I said, it's not my perspective, I don't know enough about France yet, but the French people are telling me how the socialism where it's excessive red tape, up to around a 60% tax, no incentive to work or to create your own business. And there's, like I said, there's 40,000 of them, according to the locals, coming to Monaco to work. So yeah, if you're in Texas, Texas people, Texas is a great country and a great place, and we understand, the value of low taxes and incentivizing people to know they can have a retirement, can have a future, and seeing, the Christian moral compass here, where the people seem to treat each other very much like they'd like to be treated, and they're very nice to tourists and people here. Like I said, I've never really spent time in a Catholic community before, a Christian community of this nature, and I've found it most enjoyable so far, and I feel extremely safe. And but yeah, if you want to see the moral compass of Christianity using as a guideline of the city of Monaco for how people can have a middle class, and you want to see the excitement and just the joy that people have of having low taxes, please have the experience that I've got to have. I'm very blessed experience to visit the Principality of Monaco. It's a really a unique jewel in the world from a political perspective of governance.
Absolutely. And again, it's the natural beauty is absolutely stunning. It's and I think too, it kind of adds to the good feeling of the whole place, because it's just gorgeous. And you drive around it and you see people down by the beach, just laying out, enjoying soaking in the sun. I see people meditating next to the beach. A lot of people, they drive on their little scooters and they go and park their scooter right on the edge of the beach. It is kind of funny though, people park on the sidewalks here. I'm not quite sure about why. I guess because it's small. So the cars drive up on the sidewalks and park there, and I guess they just allow it. It's okay.
And if you like to have long dinners and long lunches, a really authentic Monaco lunch is most enjoyable. Some of these lunches go for a couple of hours. People and families just love to sit, talk, chat, and eat. And sit, talk, chat, meet again, and sit, talk, chat, meet, and 2-3 hours go past. And you really see they just love spending time in their community. They really know each other. I guess when you're Principality's, approximately 20 miles square, you do get to know a lot of the locals quite well. And so they really encourage community, and they seem to generally enjoy spending time with each other, I must say. They're very celebratory about it.
Yeah, I notice actually in Europe a lot, but especially in Monaco, sometimes in certain places in the U.S., not necessarily Austin, but in California or the parts I've lived in, Vegas, you go to have your lunch and then you barely finish eating, they brought you your bill, and they're ready to move you out and move the next customer in. And in Monaco, and actually some of the other places I've been to in Europe in the last couple of years, you have to ask for your bill. They are more than happy to have you sit there at the restaurant and sip coffee or sip tea or wine and just chill out. They don't expect you to jump up and leave as soon as you finish eating your meal.
Yeah, they're very much a service-oriented industry, to where they believe in the repeat customer. And they want you to have a great time. They want you to be there, and they want you to keep coming. I remember when I was in Los Angeles doing some classes at UCLA, actually where I met Elisa. And you drive around Los Angeles and you see everyone's eating in their car. A lot of time, because the traffic is so bad, you don't have time to stop and have a dinner or a lunch with friends. And there's that song, What a Lonely Place Los Angeles Is. And sometimes it did feel like that, because you see everyone in their car by themselves, eating their sandwich or their takeaway or their whatever it is in the car, getting changed in the car, putting your work clothes or your sports clothes on the car while you're driving at red lights. You see everyone doing it. You kind of stuck.
It's true. And I think it would be wonderful to look for solutions on how to create this type of lifestyle in our individual communities. So it's one of the things I love about Austin is it's such a community. And the more we're involved in our small community, I think the more leisurely lifestyle we are able to have because there's abundance. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you a foothead or a do-good? If so, you're one of the last bearers of some of Britain's oldest, most traditional names. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back to tell about some colorful last names that are going extinct after this.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Is your last name Miracle, Relish, or Tumblr? If so, you're one of the final folks to bear some of Britain's oldest surnames, dating back to the Domesday Book of 1086. The Guild of One Name Studies, which investigates the origin and heritage of names, says hundreds of British surnames are nearly extinct. Those include Rowbree, an Old English term for a nearby hill, and Dogood, likely the nickname of a well-intentioned man, also Foothead, from the property near the foot of Spurnhead in Yorkshire. But if your surname is Bread or Spinster, well, the Guild would be shocked. You see, old chap, those names are presumed extinct. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
We'll be kidding about chemtrails.
Live Free Speech Radio, LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Live in Monaco, and I'm here with Dr. Lisa Wonpol, and we have Ryan Buetzel in the studio in Austin, Texas. And congrats, Ryan, for passing your graduate studies. What a great repeating there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Dave. This was actually your, I believe, original manifestation, giving me the idea to go to graduate school and get my master's. So, yeah, I'm blessed to have a master's in sports management from Concordia, and still enrolled about halfway through my master's in kinesiology at University of Texas. So, yeah, very, very exciting graduation today. I felt like I was in a Harry Potter movie. All these people wearing all these very colorful and stylish different types of caps and gowns and regalia, I guess. So very interesting ceremony experience now from a very different perspective of where I'm at now.
And Ryan, you pretty much got a 4.0, all A's in your graduate school, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So far, I've gotten an A in every class, and I have one final class, which technically ended on Friday, and I had 100% going into our final paper, which I handed in and everything on time. So I see no reason why I won't get an A in that class and graduate with 4.0. So
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting in Las Vegas, and you're so passionate about sports and sports management. We needed to put you in the best environment for those things, and Austin has very much been a nourishing experience for you, I must say.
Oh, absolutely. From the perspective of being able to do my master's degree and start in Las Vegas, and then by the end, manifest to where the school actually was here in Austin, Texas, I think was pretty incredible. I definitely think anyone else looking to pursue their master's who thinks they don't have time, Concordia is a great place for that. They make it very easy to learn it in your own time, your own pace, and definitely willing to work with you in that regard. So it's not like, I can't go to school full time, I can't get my degree. It's definitely, a potential out there if that's something you want to pursue.
Yeah, and being at a private school, I believe they're, a private Christian school, they they have a little bit of a moral compass where they do understand the difficulties of being a human and a human trying to live a better lifestyle. So I believe they were very encouraging and very helpful in allowing you to get through a lot of things.
Oh, I definitely agree. The Christian perspective and dealing from the religious angle, the learning process. I had originally, gone to a Catholic high school, and that was obviously different, I think, than a lot of public schools. And the same thing here, going to Concordia and being able to have that angle of the moral compass and the religious values behind the education is definitely a different experience than what I'm getting at UT. So I think it's great to have both sides and both perspectives to really be able to put together the full picture of what's going on.
Yeah, and today, for all our listeners around the world, we have a very special guest. Thomas Dickens. Thomas is an incredible artist. He's one of my favorite CGI special effects artists in the world, and very, very gifted. And Tom joins us live from Los Angeles. And Tom Dickens, can you hear us all here?
Yes, I can hear you clear. It's great to talk with you. Again, it sounds like we're talking from all over the world, which is amazing. The technology and just the outreach has been great. And also congratulations as well for that to Brian for your schooling there. And it's great to
thanks,
talk
Tom.
to you. Yeah.
And Tom, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? You grew up in Florida, and your dad, he's a very loved medical doctor there, helped a lot of people. And we're chatting last episode how he celebrated, I think it was his 70th birthday or something.
Yeah, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and my father was a neurologist there for many years. He just recently retired. He's 86 now, but he was a neurologist for over 50 years. And they just had a big celebration there for him and the other doctors for actually 60 years at Broward General Hospital, which is where I was born, and it's where my father worked, besides when he worked at his own office. So he was a neurologist. He couldn't stand the sight of blood, so he wasn't a neurosurgeon, but he was the one who would find something using the different CAT scans, MRIs, and different tests. He also was into some alternate medicines that most people haven't quite yet accepted, such as hyperbolic oxygen chambers and other forms of light therapy and that kind of thing. And it was great growing up with a knowledge person like that. I turned out to go towards the arts rather than the medical, and I went the opposite way. But he was always encouraging on that, and one of the things that he told me is just, even if you're creating something that's completely fantastic and fantasy, to bring some element to it that's realistic. So have the movements be realistic, have it be driven by muscles, and if there's teeth in the mouth, they should actually have a reason for being, not just a row of sharp teeth, for example. It should have canines, molars. So he really emphasized putting the realism, even if it's a fantasy creature.
And Tom, what year did you arrive in Los Angeles to pursue your dream of doing great special effects movies, which, for our listeners, Tom's done some of the biggest, most amazing effects movies, from Harry Potter, Scooby-Doo, Stuart Little. He's just a real gem, one of those special gems in the world.
Well, I actually took an interest so young on this. It's really uncanny. I mean, even in kindergarten, I have drawings of UFOs and aliens and dinosaurs that I was drawing. But then I got interested in stop motion animation, which was the only type of effect you could do back in the day, from Ray Harryhouse and Willis O'Brien and others. And I watched these old movies, and it really got me excited to want to do the same. So at a very young age, I started doing claymation and stop motion animation. I went to Ithaca College in New York and studied cinematography. Then later down to Florida again in Ringling School of Art and Design to study illustration, and I got the best of award at that school. But after 1989, after graduating from school, I tried to find work in Florida at the Universal Studios and other studios, but they were more theme parks and they weren't real studios, at least at the time. So I made the move out here in Los Angeles in late 1989, and like I said back then, it was real world special effects. So I did walk around suits, miniatures, stop motion, concept designs, matte paintings, and then I worked on movies like Addams Family Values, Stargate, and many other movies and television commercials, including Pledge and Orkin and different commercials. And then in 96, it was soon after Jurassic Park it came out, that everything was starting to go to computers. So I thought I better get on board, and I went to Sony Pictures Imageworks, where I stayed for 5 years working on Stuart Little 1 and 2, Castaway, What Lies Beneath, Hollow Man. I also did work at Digital Domain, We Were Soldiers, A Beautiful Mind, which got an Academy Award. Then I went to Warner Brothers and worked on Scooby-Doo 1 and 2, Looney Tunes Back in Action, and many other pictures. And then back to Sony to be a visual effects supervisor for Lair. And it was on the visual effects supervisor for Lair that I started writing my own film, which David ended up being the lead star in.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're up against a break here, but we will be right back. Nourishment for the Spiritual Warrior.
Listeners around the world, this is David Burke in Monaco with Dr. Lisa Wampole. We have Ryan Musil in Austin, Texas, and our special guest, Thomas R. Dickens, in Los Angeles, California. And just before the break, we were chatting with Tom. Tom has done so many incredible special effects movies and just one of the great jewels of the United States as far as art goes. He's an incredible artist, very inspiring artist, and I was lucky enough to create a film with Tom. The film is called Alien Zone X. And Tom, can you tell us a little bit how the film got started, where we're at, and just how people can begin getting to take a look at this film?
Yes. So, I've been wanting to make films for years. That was my goal in life, even from a child. And what happened is that it was just feeling like I was working on movie after movie after movie for other people, working at different studios, whether it be an independent film, building up my own independent company to do that with, which is it was called Mesozoic Inc., and then I changed it to VFX Rex, and so VFXRex.com. And so I was doing effects for other people's films, doing animation for other people's films, and I was very good at that. I worked on many major films, but I always wanted to make my own films. And so it was starting to be just, wondering if it was ever going to happen. And the only way to make it happen was to actually just do it. And I had met David, and we shared a lot, and we shared a lot about our goals and wanting to do many different things in life. And one of the things that David was great at was acting, and I thought he looked like a great action hero for this film. And yet he was more than just an action hero. He also had the spiritual element to it, which I thought would do nothing but just bring more interest to the film than just have it be a standard action movie. So I ended up writing the film, which started off with different names. It was originally called Alien Gray Zone X, and then I changed it to Aliens Zone X, which is the title now. And I wrote that script. The way I did it was I stayed up for 3 days straight and just wrote it. And I wrote the whole script, and I wrote it with David in mind for the lead character as Don Morgan, who is a park ranger who has he develops sort of extrasensory abilities, and which he already had, but he develops them over time through the film. And so I wrote this film, and I talked with David, and we had talked about other films, Vortex, and other different projects that just never really completely happened. We did make a short film, but we never went all the way with it. And I think we were both at the point where we just really had to either do this or stop talking about it. So we went ahead and shot the film, and got all the actors together. It's a live action film, and it was just an amazing time. David was living in Las Vegas at the time, and still lives there, in between there and other areas. So we decided to shoot it at Red Rocks in Las Vegas, which was very close. And many of the actors lived in the area as well. There was 2 from Los Angeles. Holly Poplawski and Wallace Dorian came from Los Angeles with me out there to shoot this. But the rest were all from Las Vegas, which was really handy. We also had a place to stay. We didn't have to get all those hotels and everything. And we shot the movie live there. And then the special effects were all to be added later in post. And I've been working on those for quite a while. Finally, the picture's finished. And Aliens Zone X, it's my first movie, but I'm very proud of it. I think it turned out really great. The acting's tremendous. The The special effects are great. It had showings in several theaters. It's available to see at any time in the theaters right now by going to tugg.com, Tugg.com, and just look up the film Aliens Zone X. Or you can go to tugg.com/titles/aliens-zone-x. And you can post.
The film, it screened in Las Vegas, and it sold out.
That's it. It screened in, my hometown's Fort Lauderdale. It screened there, and we screened it in Austin, Texas at the Zach Theater. It did very well there. And then it screened in the Regal Red Rocks Theater in Las Vegas, and it was a sold-out show, sold every ticket. So it's a wonderful picture, and the people love it. And it's a cool science fiction movie with a message in it. And it's just...
And also, Tom, the film... when it was shown at the Los Angeles and New York Film Festival, it won Best Special Effects and won Best Sci-Fi.
Right. Best Actor.
And and I was very lucky. It was great working with Tom. He's a fantastic guy, and we worked really well. Tom directing me around and stuff, and I was blessed to win the Best Actor award in New York Film Festival.
Right. And you very much deserved it. I mean, the picture has several different actors in it, and all the actors kind of almost like have a lead role. It's almost like the Dirty Dozen. There's everyone has a sort of a lead role, but David Burke's character is the lead. He's the lead male star, and you carried the picture, which is a difficult thing to do because you are on screen a lot, and you have to carry the entire picture. And there's emotions that you have to portray as well as physical action. This movie takes place in the Red Rocks Desert. There was hiking, there was wind, elements. We also do a fight scene with Jimmy Zito where you were using Taekwondo, karate, and other techniques on actually fighting on location on the gravel and rocks, not in a padded green screen studio with wires. So it's really an amazing achievement for America. This is the American dream, is to have a small team get together and do something great. And that's what we did in this movie.
Yeah, and Tom, I must say, it's an incredible feeling, especially I looked at some of the photos from the Las Vegas sold-out premiere at the Regal Theater. The local community began to see that, when people work together and they're inspired, people can create the American dream. People can create something that will inspire them, their families, their community, and do something incredible and to share with the world, because film is such an incredible medium to share with the world, and you can share art, you can share inspiration through this medium and change the world.
That's true. I mean, it was wonderful working for all those major movies that I worked on. And, although, there's so many people involved and it's such a corporate conglomerate to work on something like that it was really fun to do something that was more like the Ma and Pa restaurant. This is the Ma and Pa movie. It was like a small group of friends who got together and did something amazing and ended up creating something that really does compete with Hollywood. I mean, it's got special effects, action, acting, character arcs. It's got everything in there, but it was for a group of people that probably wouldn't even be allowed to get into Hollywood. They probably wouldn't. They would send in their resume and they would be a background character. Well, this movie allowed them to be lead characters. So that was really wonderful. Another great addition is that the Blu-ray is almost complete. Actually, I had my first successful complete burn of the Blu-ray. It's got many menus. And you mentioned photographs. I have there's a lot of behind the scenes. So we have photographs taken by Doug Harvey, and I put every photograph that he took in a kind of a slideshow that you can watch on the extras section on the Blu-ray. So you're only going to get that on the Blu-ray. You can do the VOD download very soon as well, but you won't see the behind the scenes. So to get the Blu-ray, you can see all the photographs that were taken. You can see interviews of David Burke, myself, and the other actors and crew that we did interviews, as well as some behind-the-scenes special effects stuff, size comparisons of the spaceships and aliens on CGI animations. So
that's really cool.
Yeah. Be on the lookout. It's probably going to be available on Amazon. Probably within the next month will be the Blu-ray for Aliens Zone X, and also the DVD. Of course, I encourage the Blu-ray because of the higher quality, but everything's coming out very soon on digital. And the Blu-ray is fantastic. It's got a full animated menu. Everything's animated. Everything's really cool, and it really competes with some like Avatar or any of the major films you've seen.
And I just want to pipe in real quick because I know Tom's not going to say it, but Tom is an awesome animator, and these special effects are top of the line. You did a great job. Everything is just so amazingly realistic, and the aliens are cool. The dinosaur is awesome. The special effects are the best.
Yeah, I was sharing the trailer with some of the top poker players at the World Series, and one of the guys, Ole, just won the 100K, won 1.7 million today. Congrats to Ole. And our friend Mustafa came second with 1.4 million. I showed them on Break the Trailer, and they're like, wow, like, how do you guys do that again? I'm like, well, my friend Tom, he just can do all this stuff. It's like, how you guys play poker, how do you explain play poker? It's kind of like how Tom would try to explain he does art. Tom has got the fingerprint of the gods as far as art goes. He just can do it.
Yeah, so great job, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Really
Thank you. Thank you.
So we got about a minute left of the show.
So Tom, can you tell people how they can begin looking up the film and what website to go to and to get it also? Yeah,
if you want to see it, if you want to see Aliens Zone X anywhere in the United States or in Australia, hopefully other areas soon, go to tugg.com, tugg.com/title/aliens-zone-x, and you can host the screening anywhere for free. Another place to check out is the main website, alienszonex.com, which is up and running and wonderful. Then also you can go to the Aliens Zone X Facebook page, which I encourage you to like that, and you'll get updated with all the updates coming out. And also there's @Aliens Zone X on Twitter. So shoot a Twitter, please retweet anything that I post there and help spread this film. This film does not have the millions of dollars of advertisement behind it that like Star Wars has. It's going to require the fans to say, that was a great movie, guys. You have to see this. Go to Tugg and host a theater or buy it on Blu-ray. It's going to be available on Amazon.com on Blu-ray. And also the Blu-ray will be available on the site itself,
Awesome.
AliensZoneX.com.
Thanks, Tom.